Welcome to the Knit Now Swatch Later podcast channel. My name is Courtney. You can find me on Instagram as Knit Now Swatch Later and on Ravelry as Pup. This is a special video that's a little bit different. So if this is the first time that you're stumbling onto this channel, make sure that you check out my podcast, which is the Knit Now Swatch Later podcast. And today I'm going to be talking about my WIP basket, which if you've been with us for a while, you have seen in some of my older episodes that I talk about the WIP basket. And I believe in one of my very early episodes, I even go through the WIP basket. Well, here is my WIP basket. It's quite large and quite full. So today I'm going to go through all of my projects and decide if I'm going to keep working on them or if I'm going to frog them. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I am super excited to cast on a new project, I also feel a little bit guilty because I know that I have so many projects in this basket and throughout the house that are not finished. And while I do feel guilty starting a new project, I never feel guilty enough to pull out this basket and actually work on something. So I thought it would be fun to go through all of my projects, sort them all out, and decide which ones I'm actually going to try to work on and finish up someday and which ones I'm just not interested in knitting on anymore. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's jump right in. Alright, so first up in this cute project bag from the last lily pad. You guys have seen this pretty recently on the podcast. This is my Maiy Cardigan by Megan Nodeker. And this progress keeper is where I was the last time I showed it on the podcast. So not a whole lot of progress has been made on this. However, I do love it, and the only reason I stopped working on it was because of my issues with my hands and my wrists because of what they thought was carpal tunnel, which I won't go too much into detail on that here because this is not part of the regular podcast, and you're here because you want to hear about the WIP basket project. So I'm going to just stick with that. But mainly this has been on hold because of restrictions on my knitting time, and just it's this honeycomb pattern is actually brioche, which I've never done before, so I have to think a little bit harder, and it's just a little bit more of an involved project right now. And when I'm only allowed to knit for 30 minutes at a time, it's kind of hard to get into that groove. So this I still definitely love, and I definitely want to work on in the future. So I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to put it in my keep pile. And then this is being knit on a US size 3, 3.25 millimeter Chowgu needle. This is part of my interchangeable set. And the yarn that I'm using is Yarn Bee. I think it's Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK. You might recognize this from my Stoker shawl that I showed on the podcast that I did end up frogging. I posted a video of me frogging it on my Instagram. So yeah, this is the Cloud Control colorway. As always, everything that I talk about will be linked below in the description box, including shops that I mentioned, links to my project pages on Ravelry, etc. Alright, so next up I have in this project bag, this is from Vintage Lindy Lou on Etsy, and I love this project bag. I was actually looking for this project bag, and I found it in my WIP basket. So, in here I have my Harley Sweater by Jenny Williams, and this is the collar. It'll like wrap around, let's see, get myself all untangled here. It'll kind of wrap around like this, and this is all the progress that I have on this. And this Dalek is where I was last time I showed it on the podcast, and have no idea what those are from, but I will have to look at that later. So this is gonna go in my keep pile because I do really like it. The cable was just too, I don't know, I wasn't really enjoying the cable, but I'm hoping that I've taken a long enough break from this that I will be interested enough in it, and if it's still not jiving with me, I probably will end up frogging it. But right now I'm going to give it a second chance, and this I am knitting on a Chaogu US size 5, which is a 3.75mm needle. And I am knitting this in Quince & Co. Willet, which is their 100% cotton, and the colorway is Regatta. And this is just a really pretty red, and this yarn, the yarn and the pattern were a gift from my husband for our anniversary last year. We've been married for 3 years, so the third year is cotton. So I thought that was really cute that he got me cotton yarn for our anniversary. Next up in my adorable piggy project bag from the Stitching Plaza, I have my first snow socks by Tabby Gandy. And I think I should be good to show these on the podcast, right? I mean, this was it was a mystery knit along for December. So I guess if you haven't seen these yet, look away, but I think I'm good to show these. So here is the first sock that I finished quite a while ago. I don't remember. I do have the details are on my Ravelry page. And this is a beautiful pattern, and I love the yarn and everything about it. It's just, when I finished this sock, it was already after December. I think I finished it in like January. It was at least after Christmas, I'm pretty sure of that. So I was I didn't really want to work on a Christmas knit along anymore. I wasn't going to make the deadline, obviously, because I think Christmas was the deadline for it. So I figured I will pick this up this winter, and I'll have a pair of Christmas socks this Christmas, right? So I'm going to keep those, and hopefully when the holidays come back around, I will have the motivation to finish the second sock up, hopefully. Alright, so next up in my Sandy by the Lakeside bag, I have the Gable Cap by Tabby Gandy, which is another really beautiful pattern by Tabby. This one was giving me a lot of frustration, and I was only working on it like right before bed. So I would knit a couple rounds and then realize I made a mistake and frog it back. So that became a vicious cycle that I did not look forward to anymore, so I just set it aside, and it has sat in the WIP basket for ever. But I do love the yarn, and I love the pattern. It's so pretty. These cables are really nice. So I think I'm going to keep this. I think it has had quite enough of a break. You can tell I did a long tail cast on because I have like 10 feet of extra tail. But yeah, I think I'm going to pick this back up. Again, probably not while we're moving into the summer here, but maybe, I don't know, I'm so close to finishing it. I don't know, we'll see, but I'm hoping to at least have this finished by the end of this year. And this I am knitting on my Chaogu US size 5 3.75mm needles. This is, I think, a 16-inch circular. And this is a very messy cake. This is Madeline Tosh in the Pink Clay Optic, which is a really pretty color, really nice yarn. I just got frustrated with the project and set it aside, and it was actually lost for a while. So yeah, on to the next project. This is in my keep pile. So far I have 4 projects in the keep pile. So next up, in my purple Jack project bag, which I love, there is definitely a theme around here. If you have not noticed, there is Nightmare Before Christmas and pigs. So inside of here I have a braided cowl. I don't know if you guys remember when this was the in thing to be making. Everyone on Ravelry, on Instagram, everywhere that was talking about knitting and crocheting, everybody was making one of these. And I jumped on the bandwagon, and at some point I just jumped off. I never finished this. This was my car project for the longest time. Whenever we would go to get like our oil changed, or we would go out to run some errands, I would bang out a few rows on this, and I love the color. Let me see. The color is, this is a, Mandala Baby, and the color is Wishing Well. You can see on the label. Oh man. Okay. You can see on the label how the striping works up. It's a really pretty color, but I have not touched this in I don't know how long. I didn't even know that there were buttons in here. There's buttons in here for if I finished the cowl, which obviously I'm not going to. So let's see, and here's my crochet hook that I was using for this. This is my favorite size hook, but I hated this hook. I don't like this is just hard plastic. I really need the hooks with the rubber, like soft handles, because this one really hurt my hand. I bought it because someone told me, or I saw on a post somewhere, these are the best crochet hooks ever, and I disagree with that entirely. I did not like this hook at all, which could be part of why I never finished this. I don't know, but anyway, this I'm definitely going to frog. I do have a project page for it on Ravelry, but I don't even have a link to the pattern, so I'm not even sure that I could find it again if I wanted to. So that's gonna go on the frog pile. I can see the bottom of the basket, guys. Alright, so next up I have in this pumpkin project bag that I made, I have the Caddington Wrap by Kate Heppel, and this is how far I got on it. As you can see, I have not made hardly any progress. There used to be 2 point protectors on here, but now there's only 1. I just don't like it. I'm not really sure. I loved the pattern when I saw it on the Knit Picks website, but knitting it is a whole different story. I was not enjoying it. I don't really care too much for the yarn. This is Knit Picks palette in the colorway Puma Heather, and it was just not working for me. So I think I'm gonna frog this. I'm hoping that maybe this has been sitting in various WIP baskets since before we bought our house. And we've lived here for about 2 years now. And I started this in our apartment before we even bought the house. So it has been probably close to 3 years since I've even touched this. So I'm definitely gonna frog it. I don't know if I would like it better if I try it again in different yarn. And I also am not a huge fan of those needles. They are the wood Knit Picks Caspian, I believe, interchangeable needles. I'm not a big fan of wooden needles. I have completely converted to the ChowGoo red lace needles. They are my absolute favorite, hands down. So I'm wondering if that pattern would go a little better with nicer yarn and ChowGoo needles. So I might give the pattern another go, but I'm definitely gonna frog this version. All right, next up in my library card bag from, I think this one is from the Silver Shed. Yes, little tag here says Silver Shed. I don't know if you can see that. And in here, I have, let's see, this blanket is called Wild Iris by Wild Iris by Sweater Babe. And this is a really pretty pattern for someone who likes knitting blankets. I have learned so much in the last couple years that I've really gotten into knitting, and blankets are not something that I enjoy knitting. And I think I knew that when I cast this on. I was becoming more aware of that about myself, but I thought, oh, well, it's really, really pretty, and it's a baby blanket, so that won't take too long, right? Wrong. This has been in my WIP basket, I think longer than that cardigan has, actually. But anyway, it has been in here. It has been in here for so long, I have no idea what this yarn is. The needles are, again, the Knit Picks Caspian. These are a size 8, which is a 5mm needle. And I am gonna frog this because I'm never gonna finish this, ever. This actually wasn't even in a project bag. It was just thrown on a shelf somewhere. So I shoved it in a project bag so that it would fit in the WIP basket. It wasn't even in the WIP basket. It's been so long. But I'm definitely gonna frog that, and no more knitted blankets for me, ever. Next up, I have in this horrible project bag that I made when I don't even know what I was thinking. I think I just desperately needed a bag, and I didn't know how to make them back then, so I just made this like huge drawstring monstrosity. I didn't even cut out the selvage here. But yes, in here I have my With Grace in Your Heart by Kay Litton. This is a shawl pattern, and it's really pretty, and I love this yarn. The yarn is Silence in the Library from Bad Wolf Girl Studios, I think is what it's called now. And these are my Knitter's Pride Zings on a size 4mm needle, which I think is a size 7, but I'm not sure. This I really wanted to knit. I love Kay, who is the Crazy Sock Lady over on Instagram, and she also has a podcast. on YouTube, and I really wanted to like this pattern, but I am not a shawl knitter. I don't know why I can't just accept that, but it was a shawl and I thought it was really pretty, and I really wanted to knit it and to support Kay, but I'm not a shawl knitter and I will never finish this. I don't like to knit shawls, I don't like to wear shawls. I will never finish this. So I am gonna frog it, and that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. I mean, it's really pretty, it's really squishy, and I love it, but the reality is I will never finish this, and if 20 years down the road I did finish it, I probably still wouldn't wear it. So this one actually kind of hurts a little to frog, but oh well, it needs to be done. And the last thing that I have in my WIP basket is this Austin the Rhino by Carrie Lord. And this was for my husband. I started this, I don't even know how long ago I started this. I bought this really cute pattern book, and it has a bunch of stuffed animal patterns in it. I think it's called Edward's Menagerie, I believe is the name of the book. And it's a good book, and it has a lot of really cute animal stuffy patterns, but the way that the patterns are laid out was not for me. There's like a head basic instruction and a body basic instruction and arm basic instructions, and basically you find what you want to crochet, and then you have to flip back and forth through the book to find all of the individual pieces of the toy that you want to crochet and piece them all together. And I like my patterns to just be straightforward and all in one place, and I got tired of flipping back and forth, and I think I eventually just got bored of the project itself. So I'm gonna frog this, and yeah, it has to be done. Alright, so I have 4 projects that I'm keeping and 5 that I am frogging. And it's been so long since I've worked on that hippo or rhino, whatever it is, I don't even remember what it is anymore, that this is what the yarn looks like. It's like, it's just thrown in the bottom of this basket, so I'm just gonna throw that away. But the WIP basket is finally empty. Yay! So I might also put in some footage of me actually frogging some of these projects at the end of this video. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, make sure that you check out my podcast, which is also on this channel, and let me know what other kinds of videos you guys want to see down in the comments. So until next time, happy knitting. Bye!